Hey gang, good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome to Chad's Cards, the home of questionable advice and even worse production value. So today I wanted to go over a few things. Just an idea popped in my head and so figured let's just put out a quick video, which for me is probably not going to be that quick, but I'll do my best here, of cards that are holding up during this current downtrend. So it's no secret that the card market, really across the board, across all sports, has been taking it on the chin. And I wanted to show you a few cards that are perhaps bucking that trend and might provide a bit of a safe haven in this environment here. And it's not a whole lot different, actually, as it turns out, is what I've been preaching. And what a lot of people believe is that the guys that are on that Hall of Fame path or in the Hall of Fame really kind of hold up better than others. And so I've got a number of examples, and we'll see what seems to be working. So we'll start with Mookie Betts, and he's not immune to the even guys that are on a definite Hall of Fame track. Just as an example of the stuff that's going on in the market here, they have these big run-ups, and then they've really kind of corrected, so very few sales, and then they've kind of consolidated. And these are probably more interesting buys than what I'm going to show you, but it's important to have some of these other guys as well. To kind of, if you're looking at this from an investment purpose, call it diversification, and it'll hold up better than other things. And so what you see towards the end of the year is a rotation into kind of the safe names here. So Mookie Betts, big pop here, and it's come down quite a bit. A high level of $760 for his update PSA 10, and now it is going for around $400. And so his raw cards are kind of in that range as well, which is interesting. So he's really come down quite a bit. But for the year, you can see that this is the July action here. You're still doing pretty well if you bought during the early part of the year. Juan Soto, the new hotness, here's the rookie that came on and just has produced the past couple 3 years, and it seems like he'll be the best left-handed hitter over the next decade. I had this big spike here, also came off, so he's not immune from it. And you can look at bona fide all-time great, not just a Hall of Famer, Mike Trout, not immune from the whims of the market here. So again, over the past several months, since May when you had the spike, you're back to your May prices here, but it did reach a high level in that PSA 10 of $3,600, and seems to be about $2,400 right now, so not immune from losses. So let's take a look at guys that have maybe held up a little bit better, and so a little different orientation here. These are the Hall of Famers that will always have demand. So maybe he didn't have this spike. This is the 62 Topps Mantle PSA 6 as an example. You could probably find this with a lot of mantles across the board, but this is one that popped up first on the old card ladder. That looked interesting, and it had a bit of a dip and then a rose, and it's held its price. And so here's a Hall of Famer, high price of $753, sitting around $650. But when you get into those higher prices, it's more about a percentage movement rather than just an actual dollar amount. And so it's held up relatively well. You can see that it's been kind of grinding sideways. So with cards that the rest of the market, the card market, if you bought here, you'd have this run up and then kind of a give back. And so you never had the run up or the give back. It's been kind of sideways. So maybe I'm cheating a little bit, but it has held up and shown its resilience here. So the next card we have is Griffey. They had this, oh, there we go, just on my list here. I was starting at the top like, wait, Juan Soto again? No, it's Ken Griffey Jr. So this is the 89 Upper Deck in a PSA 9. And you can see it did kind of celebrate a run-up with the rest of the market, and it didn't give it all back. It's just kind of grinded sideways. So it did have, a high water mark of $223 again. This is in the PSA 9, and now it's sitting just under $200. So maybe down 10%, but this isn't like the cards that were $600-700 that are now trading for $300 or $400. So it has shown some resilience, for the Hall of Famer here. So moving on. Wade Boggs. Sorry if these are all the old cards are boring, but this is my area here, and I kind of like looking at this stuff. Got a lot of these cards here, not graded by any stretch, but still have fun looking at them and seeing what their prices are doing, even though I have no plans to kind of do anything with them. So 83 Topps, Wade Boggs, PSA 9, and you can see that it had a run up as well. There's this vintage madness, and it's held its own. So last couple sales, it just recently made a high. So there's not a lot of cards that can say that. So it's come off quite a bit, but it's in this area where maybe some buyers will kind of step back in. So again, celebrated the run up, put in a high very recently, and it's come off just a little bit. So that is Mr. Wade Boggs. Next on the list, Donnie Baseball. fun fact, Kirby Puckett actually gave him that name, Donnie Baseball. So two of my favorite players in the 80s. And this is the 84 Fleer PSA 9. So he's got the Donruss, which is more popular. And that one hasn't held up. That's had a lot. That one ran up a whole lot more, and it's given back a bit more. So the Fleer has held up a bit better, and you could say that's for demand reasons. But again, it did celebrate a bit of a run up, and here it is again. It's kind of trending on its way back up to $66 after hitting a high of, looks like 76, probably around $80 or something like that. So it is trending back up. So it didn't have the massive spike, which was really just a couple of sales. I mean, you could really look at a lot of those old, those charts from this year with like the Freddie Freemans and the Acuna and the Soto. It was just a couple of sales that really brought them up, and then they kind of settled back into this range. So, maybe he didn't have that, but again, the rules of the game here. It's kind of holding in better than the rest of the market here. So next up, Kirby Puckett. So back to back, my two favorite players. All right, so Kirby did have a bit of a run up here, but again, it's holding in better than most. So there's a recent sale that's kind of screwing up here, and I'm just going to chalk that up. I mean, you don't sell Kirby Puckett, so I'm going to chalk that up to someone who had too many beverages, and it was a Wednesday night 1 a.m. finish or something like that. And so screwy market data. I don't know, but it seems to be hanging in pretty well. Again, didn't have the big run up, and so maybe that's why you didn't have the big give back. But I'm going to count it as a card that is holding in pretty well relative to the market. All right, Barry Bonds. This guy's not going away until his eligibility is up or he gets into the Hall. So PSA 10, this is the 86 Fleer update. And you can see he had a big run up with the Vintage Madness. I know a lot of the tops traded and the Tiffany's and all that were going nuts, and this got dragged right along with it. But it is showing a lot of resilience and hanging in just fine. So Barry Bonds, again, my theory on when I'm looking at cards, I'm looking for relevance, and that could be Hall of Fame or that could be discussion for Hall of Fame. And so when his time comes up, if he doesn't get in, whatever happens, you could see these prices kind of slide back down. But I think there's anticipation that he's probably getting in because he turned baseball into a video game for a couple of years in the early 2000s. Chipper Jones, a recent inductee to the Hall of Fame, relatively recent. So, and the PSA 10 is the upper deck. The top's 91, I think, maybe more popular, but this was the only information they had on Card Ladder. So you can check these other ones out. But again, he had a bit of a run-up, grinding sideways, sitting right near the highs. He is held in as well. So you are seeing this rotation into the vintage kind of in the off-season, and not as much speculation. So I don't know if that's an annual thing or not, but we'll find out. Check back with me in 5 years, and we'll have a good pattern picked out here. But again, Chipper Jones holding in pretty well relative to the rest of the market. Ichiro, PSA 9. This is the Chrome traded in the PSA 9. So there's a couple of other variations that are pretty insane. I want to try and keep this reasonable if I can, but you can get like the refractors and things of that nature, which they're increasing in price. But this one is doing just fine here. So Ichiro, Hall of Famer, going to be in short order. Enjoyed a pretty nice run up. $50 card, and it's gone up to the $300, $350 range, and it's held there as well. So there's going to be demand for Ichiro when he gets in. This could be Hall of Fame speculation. What speculation he's in? Why are people kind of figuring this out right now? But as this held up relative to the rest of the market, so. Again, buy those Hall of Famers, buy those guys that are on a very solid track, and I think you'll hold up, and you won't see those the speculative drops. There's going to be a level of support and demand from the overall market. Same with this guy, Pujols. This is his topps traded 2001 base PSA 9. So there's the Chrome version, which I prefer. That's the one I have. But that's gotten hit on the chin a little bit more than others. But you can see that it did have its spike. Came off with the rest of the market, but it is, and this was the August spike, the August-September spike, and where everything kind of came off. But you're seeing one person come in and say, you know what, hey, that was a pretty good price. Let's get it back there. So kind of a weird sale. So again, when you see these low volume spikes, don't chase into it. If you're looking for this card, don't follow this one. There's more buying in this area, so be patient. But for our purposes today, right around the highs, and it's indeed holding up better than the rest of the card market, technically, I suppose. So we've got a couple more here. Mariano Rivera inducted to the Hall of Fame. Perfect score to get in the Hall of Fame. 100% participation, and so there's gonna be a lot of support for his cards. Even now, even after that event has happened. So the run up, and it continues to make new highs. So that's the 92 Bowman in a PSA 10 continues to make new highs, and that is bucking the trend of the overall market. You're not seeing that out of a ton of cards here, but Mariano Rivera, well, let's just say he's going to remain perfect, and so he's always gonna buck that trend. Not always, but right now it is. For now, yes, he's doing what no one else can do. So there you go, new highs for Mariano Rivera, and we'll wind it up with a modern guy here. So Wander Franco, I am partial to the mega box. I don't know why. I mean, people don't like the Mojo refractors. I love them. I get them all, and oh well, I'm goofy like that. So, but the prices run up, and you can see that he's held in as well. So it's kind of unusual to see like the modern cards, because a lot of these established players aren't able to do this, but Wander Franco is, and so you've got a lot of anticipation coming into spring training. He'll make the team. Maybe, and you'll probably see a further spike, honestly, at that point. But at that point, when he starts playing, if he starts to struggle, scuffle a little bit, like most rookies, almost all rookies really do, then you could see those prices come back down to earth, and probably into this level. So you could see a spike and then a comeback. But you know what? He didn't have the spike and comeback yet, so he counts. He's held up better than the rest of the market overall. So, all right, that's what I got for you today. Hopefully that was, it's probably not super useful, but at least enjoyable. So have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.